Hey everyone, what is happening? Welcome to another week's training of Scentsy Success Academy. I am Megan Clark, if you don't already know who I am, and I'm just so grateful for you clicking play. And let's dive in, let's talk a little bit about this week's training. So, I want to talk a little bit about building your brand. So, not necessarily just like building your brand, because I know that when we say that, that's kind of like a, let's a very broad way of saying it, right? So, what I mean by that is digging a little bit more into like who you are, authentically who you are, what you love, what makes you you in relation to whether you're a Scentsy consultant, excuse me, if you're watching this and you're a Scentsy consultant, or perhaps maybe you stumbled across this and this can honestly apply to anybody that just isn't that you sorry, words are hard. Let's slow down. If you're not a Scentsy consultant, it is perfectly fine. This training will apply to you as well. And then for those of y'all on my team, Team Faith and Soul, that are currently watching this as well, watching the replay, a lot of you guys have full-time jobs outside of having Scentsy on the side, right? So if you have a full-time job or a part-time job outside of whatever it is else that you're doing, this can actually apply to you as well. So let's go ahead and get started. But I'm just glad you're here. And whether you've been with Scentsy again for, if you're a consultant, whether or not you've been with us for years or you're just starting out, this training is specifically designed to help you build a brand that's going to be authentically feeling more like yourself. That's going to be tailored to you. And I'm going to spend probably about the next 15-20 minutes or so diving a little bit deeper into that, looking into like what does that look like for you, breaking it up into steps, giving you a couple of like questions to reflect on that are perhaps going to help you get into that general direction of meditating, thinking a little bit more on a deeper level of what makes you you. Because here's the thing is that as we're diving into this topic today, I want us to shift the focus to honestly showing up for ourselves. How we can do that is building the brand through your personality and your values. But the best part is that you don't need to necessarily reinvent yourself. What's really incredible as Scentsy consultants is that we are a mod podge of people. What do I mean by that? We're not all copy and paste. We are so different from one another. If you've had the pleasure, the blessing to be able to attend any kind of Scentsy event, whether it's a group training, maybe something you've attended here at my house, maybe a Scentsy event, so like World Tour, Scentsy Family Reunion, maybe you've watched other trainings online from other Scentsy consultants, whatever the case may be, you can see that there's so many different consultants, right? We're so different from one another. Even the consultants that I've had the pleasure of meeting, some of them I'm very blessed to even call my friends. Again, we are so vastly different from one another. And I think that that is such an incredible blessing because here's the thing is that the people that are going to connect to you as your customers, they are authentically going to connect to you because of something, there's something about you that just connects with them, that clicks in place. It could be your personality. It could maybe be perhaps something that you like to do, right? Like something that, a hobby, something you collect. It could be maybe something that you shared about yourself. You have maybe even another common interest, whatever the case may be. The best part is that you don't have to change anything about yourself. If you're watching this video, who you are currently viewing, listening to this video is exactly who I want you to show up as because the right customers are going to be out there for you that you can connect with, build relationships with, and that trust. And to me, there's just something so special about that. But you don't need to show up as anybody else but yourself. But here's the more important part is that when you show up, I want you to be consistent and I want you to be intentional. Point number one, and if I haven't mentioned this, I don't think I did, pause this video, grab a pen and paper, take some notes. I always find that taking brief notes helps me. Otherwise, you can always go back and again just watch the replay another time. But grab a pen and paper, because we're going to I want you to take a little bit of notes, specifically things that are going to maybe get your heart rate up a little bit, or speak to your heart, or maybe perhaps make you giggle, make you smile a little bit, or you're like, ooh, you know what, I feel like she's talking about me, she's talking to me. So number one, point one, your brand is your vibe. This is basically the bare minimum. This is where I want you to start. Again, whether you are a brand new Scentsy consultant, whether you're coming back, you reinstated your account, or you've been around for a while, I want you to start from this. This is the bare minimum, very bottom, right? So let's start here. Your brand is not just a logo. It's not something that you can go to somewhere like Canva or Photify and whip up and create. It's not just a logo. Or, let's be honest, your favorite color palette. When I started thinking as a consultant, when I first started joining as a consultant, that is actually what I assumed was a brand. I thought it was something that I put on a bag and I put my customer's order in, or I thought it was something that I whipped up and created online. It was all this pressure that I would put myself through, like every season, every kind of look season, of, oh my gosh, you know, I need a new brand, you know, I need a new, what's my colors for the season? And then I would put so much pressure on myself that then I would like create these images that I would print off at like Walgreens or again through Canva, and I was like, oh, it has to be different, it has to be different, it has to be unique every season. And here's the thing, is that is not necessarily the bread and butter of what I'm referring to when we are talking today about your brand. Your brand is your vibe. It's honestly one of my favorite words. And ironically, as I'm looking at my shirt, I just think it's hilarious, because my shirt with this big old smiley face on it does say good vibes only. And I did not plan that. I just love that so much. But your brand is your vibe, the energy that people feel when they land on your page, the energy that you feel. Think about like your favorite, who is your favorite consultant? Who's your favorite person? Even not a consultant, like who do you listen to on a podcast? Or who do you listen to maybe for weekend church services? Or maybe even somebody that's an influencer or a Scentsy consultant that does training. Think of that person, right? When that person comes to your mind, how do you feel about that person? That's the vibe that I want you to put off. The energy that people feel when they land on your page, or if they talk to you in person, over the phone, or even receive happy mail from you, that is your vibe. No matter how you're communicating with your customers, that is the vibe. That's the kind of vibe what kind of vibe you want to put off, right? So those are the way that we communicate to our customers. Those are the ways that they are going to connect with us, that they're going to vibe with us, right? And what I love so much too, thinking about like the variety again of like consultants and the variety of customers. Like I know that I'm not going to mesh well and connect with everyone that I come across that wants Scentsy, or that anyone that like maybe wants to join as a consultant. That's perfectly fine, because the great thing, the beautiful thing about it is that there is a sea of other consultants that they can join under, that they can order from. And I just think that is so cool. And it's just, to me, that is so exciting. It's so beautiful that we get to like pick and choose these kind of things, right? So I want you to ask yourself two questions. I want you to ask yourself, one, how do I want people to feel after interacting with me? I'll repeat that. How do I want people to feel after interacting with me? How do you want your customers, or not even customers, because let's think about maybe perhaps this is like the first time you're interacting with somebody. They haven't ordered anything from you yet. What impact do you want to leave with them the first time that you meet them? I want you to think about that. Write that question down. Second question that I want you to ask yourself this week. What 3 words describe the vibe I want my brand to have? I want you to think about that. What 3 words do you want your customers to come to mind to your customers when I think about your brand? So one thing that is fun and I encourage you to do. I've seen a lot of consultants do this, and it's really cool. I love it so much. You can do it in your VIP group. You can do it on your personal Facebook page. But what I love doing is posting a photo of like yourself, or maybe you and like your anybody, like a photo, but make sure you're in the photo. And post a photo by yourself, but post on your page and ask, what 3 words other than Scentsy come to mind when you think of me? Your people that follow you on your social media, like your social content pages, or even like text, like let's just say you can even like text your customers one-on-one if you want to do that too. But however they answer back to you, they know you. They watch you, whether or not they're commenting or liking your post. I guarantee you that somebody out there, your customers, they're watching. They're watching, they're viewing. They possibly even know more about you than they think that you think that they do. and I love it because there's always this really fun, great feedback that comes back from like my customers every time that I've done this. And to be honest with you, as I'm saying this out loud, it's actually been probably close to about 2 years since I've done that myself. So I think that I'm actually going to do that myself. Now I might still post on my Facebook page, but I think I'm still going to text one-on-one because the algorithm, if you know, you know. Facebook algorithm right now is not like our best friend, but I encourage you to do both because odds are you're going to get at least one person commenting on there, and it's a lot of fun, and it's just different from what they're normally seeing, right? But I want you to ask yourself those 2 questions. For me, I want people personally to feel welcome. I want them to feel uplifted, and I definitely want to leave them feeling inspired when they leave a conversation from me, no matter what that looks like. Think about your own vibe and how you can carry that into everything that you do on your day-to-day life. From Instagram stories, Facebook stories, customer thank you notes, customer follow-up, emails, all the things. Think about all the different types of like reach out and connection and just social posting that you're doing, and think about like how you want your vibe to connect in with that. Point 2, be you. What did I say earlier? We are not a copy and paste. I know I personally don't want to be a copy and paste of somebody else. I know that I have been guilty in the past of following certain people through social media content, whether influencers, or whether people that I've known probably like almost like my entire life, people I went to school with, Scentsy consultants, you name it. But there have been individuals throughout the last couple of years that I will say that there are times where I'm like, oh, I really want to be like that person. Or there's something about their personality that I love. And I'm like, I loathe right about it because I'm like, I wish that I was more like that. Or maybe perhaps there's a certain way about going about doing like samples or Happy Meal or post on social media. And I'm like, I want to be more like that person. Now, here's the thing is that we can take those things and use it as inspiration, but you don't want to copy any of those things because, again, going back to how your customers know you, right? And it doesn't matter if you are a newer consultant or if you've been around for a while, people that follow you on your social media pages, they're going to know something about you. Because if you have a social media page, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever, TikTok, you name it, no matter what you're putting out there, somebody's going to know something about you. So if you are copying and pasting something that is not authentically you, not authentically yours, your customers, your people that are viewing your social content are going to know that. They're going to figure that out. So I encourage you to be yourself. Don't be a copy. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. That is something that I've been with Scentsy 5.5 years now. And if I could have gone back to the very beginning of my Scentsy journey, that is hands down one of at least 3 things I would have told myself is that I don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Again, I can look at what everyone else is doing and use it as inspiration. Use it as getting me like the go-go juice that I need to propel forward, to keep moving, to try something new. But I don't have to, wish that I could go back and tell myself 5.5 years ago that I don't have to do everything verbatim like somebody else is doing. I feel like that we get caught up so much, even outside of our business, like on a day to day. Whether we see somebody that's doing like a do-it-yourself project, craft project, or whatever the case may be. I feel like as a society, like we get so caught up in the way that like we absolutely have to do it the exact way that somebody else does it. Because I'm like, man, if they had this success and if they're doing so well with this, I want to do it exactly the way that they're doing it, because then I'll have success. But I want to tell you, the hard truth is that is not going to happen. That's the reality check for you. It's not going to, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. We're setting ourselves up for failure if we do just that. We can take what we appreciate and what we love and what is inspiring us from what others are doing and sharing and posting and making and baking and all the things. We can take that and draw inspiration from what they're doing. But it doesn't have to be exactly like what they're doing. If you're not into dancing on your reels, if you're not into doing reels, let alone if you're not into doing something that's trendy and fun, that you see on social content or curated reels, right? There's a lot of work that goes into stuff like that. It's okay. You don't have to do that. What matters is showing up consistently in a way that feels natural to you. Ask yourself, what is it that makes you unique outside of Scentsy? Outside of Scentsy, what makes you unique? Ask yourself that. I also want you to ask yourself, what do people love or remember about me? Again, that's another question that you can ask your loved ones. You can ask your spouse. You can ask your kids. You can go back to like your customer base, your social media pages. And then if it is hard for you to answer those questions all on your own, you can get inspiration from there as well. For example, if you know me to know me, you see behind me right here, look at my nails. I love color. I love fragrance. I love pets. And giving people a warm, joyful experience no matter what I'm doing. When I have somebody that's in my space and my circle, I want to make sure that they feel warm and appreciated and welcome. And I want them to walk away feeling taller and helping fill their cup up more than what was happening whenever I first approached them and when we first started hanging out. I want every experience that somebody has with me to be unique and special and fun and memorable. So I weave those things into the content, my content often. If you follow me through my reels, if you follow me through my podcast that I have here on YouTube, you would know that I carry those things quite often through my content, through my Facebook, Instagram stories, when I'm posting on social media, all the things. It's like, what do they say? It's like you walk the walk and then you talk the talk. I've learned to do just that. And then I can help you do the same in return. When you lean into your personality, when you lean into what makes you you, you're going to stand out without even trying. Without even trying. Where it becomes too hard is when you're trying to be something that you're not. Point number 3. I want you to lead with your values. Let's talk a little bit about values, okay? I'm going to take a drink break real quick. Let's talk a little bit about values. Values are the heartbeat of your brand. They are the heartbeat. They are the glue that holds your brand together. When you lead with your values, people are going to trust you more. People are going to connect with you on a deeper level. Are you ready? I got some more questions to ask yourself. What are 2 to 3 values that guide the way that you run your business? I'll repeat it again. What are 2 to 3 values that guide the way that you run your business. Next question. How do I show those values in action? So for me, it's kindness, it's creativity, and encouragement. That means that I make space for real conversations. I share freely and openly, and I try to leave people better than I found them. Point number 4. Your story is your superpower. We're going to dive a little bit more into that in the next week or two. Your Scentsy story, what it's all about. But for now, let's talk about how it is your superpower. Lastly, don't forget, your story matters. Does not matter what your story is compared to somebody else's. Your story matters, no matter what that is. It matters. You don't have to have a huge achievement to inspire somebody. There are consultants that we're among in our business that have reached some incredible achievements. They have been around for a while, or maybe perhaps they've been around for a short while and have had a lot of success that they've been able to gain. They've been able to earn a lot of incentives, maybe awards, maybe perhaps even outside of Scentsy. Maybe you know somebody in your full-time job that has a lot of accolades under their name. But you personally don't have to have a huge achievement to inspire somebody. Surprise. Your consistency, your courage, or comeback might be exactly what somebody needs to hear. Everyone has a story. It maybe started before you became a Scentsy consultant. Maybe it has started throughout the process and the journey of being a Scentsy consultant. Whether it's been during, whether it's been for, whether your story is unfolding right now, it matters. You're going to connect with somebody when you share your comeback, when you share your courage that you have throughout your journey. The consistency that you're showing up in your business, what you're learning from, or maybe perhaps where you're at right now, no matter what that looks like, you're going to be able to connect with somebody. So we probably have gone into a little bit of a pattern here, so you might know what's next. I've got 2 questions that I want you to ask yourself. When it comes to your story, what's one story that shows how you've grown? So if you ask yourself from the process of joining Scentsy up until now, no matter what that timeline looks like, whether it's been a short time or a long time, what is one story that shows how you've grown? What is something that you've learned from in that process in this time so far? Also, I want you to ask yourself, why did you join Scentsy? And how has that why changed? You know, I think about different seasons of my life, and I was just talking to my barber, funny enough, today. I went to the barber today. It's long overdue, but I went to my barber, and fun fact for you, little nugget of information, he's actually a pastor as well. And one thing that I was sharing with him is the journey that I've had over the span of at least the last 14, 15 years of my life, and how back then I was a completely different version of myself than I am now. That's another story for another day. That's another story for another day. Not the point. But the point is that we all have different seasons in our life, right? Where we've learned from mistakes, that we have triumphed over battles, that we've had hardships, that we've had breakthroughs, that we've had hard lessons along the way, right? We've made some tough choices. Whatever that looks like for you, that is what I want you to reflect on, of how it came to be, your why. Like, what brings you to this point now? And how has that why changed? So, thinking about, from the moment that you decided to click join as a Scentsy consultant, what made you decide to want to join in the very beginning? Don't overthink it. Why did you join? But then now, after you write that down, I want you to ask yourself, has that changed from the time that you joined up until now? Why are you still a Scentsy consultant? I want you to write both of those things down, because sometimes it can change. I know for me it's changed. Now, if it hasn't changed for you, that's perfectly fine as well. So for me personally, when I first joined, it was because I actually fell and not only in love with a warmer that my friend had shared at a party that I was having for her. I had absolutely no idea what Scentsy was, but I fell in love with the warmer that she had. Also, I was miserable at my job that I had, and I knew that I was going to have to keep this particular job for a while because the benefits were great, the pay was great, but the work demand was just too much for me. I needed something that was just going to be just for me, that I could have fun with, that I could have a little bit more creative freedom with. I didn't really care what I was doing or what that looked like. I just wanted something that I could call just my own for myself. I was on the Scentsy website picking out my rewards for my party that I had for my friend. I was being nosy, looked around the website, happened to come across the link where it said join. All the information that we have on our personal websites about joining. And I didn't really read too much. I just happened to see the video at the time that they had about joining. It was a lot of fun because I shared with you my love of color, my love of connection with other people. That's what showed up in this video. It was confetti cannons. It was people hugging one another. It was individuals smiling, laughing, having a good time. I was like, I don't know where they're at or what they're doing, but if whatever this company is about gets me into like this with like the color and the connection and laughing and confetti cannons and all the things, sign me up. So I clicked join. Also, a big decision of mine for joining was that my party was so successful that I saw the potential in what could become later down the road. But ultimately, when I first joined Scentsy, it was just for fun. It was just something that I could have creatively for my own as kind of like a mental out for whenever I was here at the house when I didn't have to think about like my regular like 9 to 5 type job. But for me, it was again also about confidence. Something that I really struggled with for a very long time was self-confidence, finding my voice, figuring out who I was. Before I joined Scentsy, I was very lost. I kind of had like a change in my life where I was kind of rediscovering like what it is that I was passionate about, what it is that I loved. And throughout the last couple years, my confidence has just kind of skyrocketed. It has changed overnight. Never ever would I have thought that I'd be doing this right here, recording weekly trainings, doing a podcast on my own. I never ever would have thought that I can actually have the self-confidence that I have now had you had asked me the same question 5.5 years ago. But now I'm ultimately able to create a life that I love. Here's your challenge. Here's the overall umbrella challenge. I'm about to wrap this up for y'all. I want you to pick one of these questions throughout this whole, almost 30 minutes that I've been talking, all the questions that I've asked you to write down, reflect on. I don't want you to focus on all of them. I want you to pick one. I want you to pick one of these questions to answer publicly. Yes, I'm going to say that one more time because you did not mishear that. I want you to pick one of these questions and I want you to answer them publicly this week. Maybe in a post, maybe in a reel. I know I like my reels. Or go bold and go live and talk about it. I want you to show up with your heart. I want you to lead with your heart first. I want you to not overthink it. I know that's easier said than done, but rip that freaking Band-Aid off. If you have to if you go to your camera, go to record a video, do that. That's actually literally what I'm doing right now. Is I hit play on my phone, I'm recording a video and I'm recording it on my phone and then I'm posting it to YouTube. Like you could just post it to your Facebook or your Instagram page. But I want you to pick one of these questions. And I want you to not only show up with your heart first, lead with your heart first, but I want you to take with you a grain of salt, a little bit of nugget information that you are your brand. and that's your biggest strength. What makes up you right now, that's your biggest strength that you have. Nobody else can take that away from you. If this training helped you, you can help me out so much by dropping 3 brand words in the comments below. And I want you to know, and I want you to let me know what stood out the most to you in this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back next week for more ways to grow your business while staying true to you. Again, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to dive a little bit more into your story, your brand. Also have super exciting news soon, sometime, hopefully this month. I will have a panel of some of my great, incredible, amazing Scentsy friends that's going to join me here on this training. I'm super excited for it, so stay tuned for that as well. In the meantime, I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, rest of your week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, y'all. Yeah, until next time.